Gigi, can we start now?
We are live, ma'am.
So our speakers, oh, ma'am, should you start first or should I just start by introducing?
Just introduce the topic first.
Okay.
And introduce the speakers and then we will start.
All right, fine. Okay. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. Our topic for today's webinar is Developing Future-Ready Employability Skills by the JSI alumni. Our speakers today include Mr. Prashant Sharma, MEDLB 2013 batch. He is an independent global economic and strategic affairs analyst and civic engagement specialist. Previously, as Assistant Director, CUTS International, he was handpicked to manage operations for their center in Washington, DC, USA, from CUTS headquarters in Jaipur, India. He also worked as a part-time consultant for Asian Development Bank. Prashant also works for Trade for Peace initiatives aimed at transforming India-Pakistan relations. Our second speaker today is Ms. Rupinder Kaur Bhala, MEDLB 2012 batch. She is an experienced founder with a demonstrated history of working in the international development sector. She is the founder director of Uran, an NGO she started in 2015 in Uttarakhand, working on gender equality and women empowerment issues. She is passionate about creating a just, equitable, and humane society through capacity building of individuals at all levels of governance in society. In Jan 2019, she was appointed as the teaching fellow at the LOA program at Harvard University, where she directly mentored 26 students on their social change projects in Europe, Middle East, Asia, and Australia. On the same lines, in 2018 with Jindal University, she piloted the People Power Change program for grassroots organization leaders in India on community organizing for leadership and social change. Her time at JDU brought many accolades, including being selected for the Open Society Global Internship on Rights and Governance, OSIRG. The project, funded by Soros Foundation, brought together students from 7 universities, including Harvard, Cambridge, and Oxford. Thank you so much.
Now, without further ado, I think Mr. Prashant can take the stage over.
Yeah, thank you, Chandani, for the kind introduction, and thank you, Pradeep, for moderating this session. And so I'm very delighted to be here with you today, and thank you for inviting and sharing this panel with a fellow alumni and a dear friend, Rupinder. So let me, I have got 15 minutes, if I'm correct. So let me turn on my stopwatch, and accordingly, I'll try to cover up like certain things. So developing the future employability skills. So the topic is very pertinent in this age of like uncertainty and volatility and frequent changes. Technology is there, like things like artificial intelligence, robotics, they are taking over, and then a lot of things have changed in the past due to pandemic and conflicts and war in Ukraine. So now, so based on my experience, what I have put a framework in mind on paper, and so I would like to describe the framework based on my own experiences. So the framework, the ways and means, it is about the ways and means of future employability skills. So for me, based on my experience, the ways, ways and means are the continuous learning, critical thinking, and then analytical skills. And when you do continuous learning, even when inside the university or when you are doing a job or you are doing independent consulting, if you are into continuous learning, you will develop your critical thinking skills and analytical skills. If you get to apply them, you will gain wisdom. So that is the process. So knowledge and wisdom is wealth, equal to wealth. So like the employability will follow, whether you get a job or whether you are self-employed person. So the values I will talk about. Values are First value is courage. Second is collaboration. Third value, based on my own experience, is compassion. So, like courage to like, for example, when you are working with a team and you are like kind of interested upon designing a primary field survey for 4 countries in South Asia. In my case, it was Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal. So I was designing field visit in my early days of my career after passing out from Jindal in 2013. So it was in 2015, I guess. So I was designing that part of field survey for 4 countries. And then like I designed it, I could have allocated the most attractive routes for field survey. I could have gone to Bhutan and Nepal and met stakeholders there. But I chose not to do that. I gave the preference to my team members, to my colleagues. I kept myself in the last row. So they chose the most attractive things, and I was left with the least attractive thing. So courage to leave the most attractive thing and do the least attractive thing. So that could be a turning point, like for and if you have the ability to transform that into a turning point, and if you have the ability to shine by that least by like getting into that, taking that least attractive option, nothing like it. So for me, it turned out the least attractive option was to do a survey from Mumbai Nhava Sheva port, JNPT port, to Tughlakabad ICD. So it was like covering states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Delhi, NCR. And I covered NH8, around 1,500 kilometers from port to from a seaport to a dry port in New Delhi, Tughlakabad. So its objective was to assess the time and cost dimension of road freight movement in India, logistic movements in India. So there are lots of agencies, lots of stakeholders. I'll not go into that. And I did that. I remained alone on highway NH8 for 13 days. And doing that alone instilled me a sense of confidence and then courage, and also like new capabilities, leadership capabilities. Later on, I was interested on big responsibilities to lead bigger projects, like do the like design primary surveys for multiple countries, including and then organize bigger events, like including for US-India relations, covering subjects like innovation and entrepreneurship, international trade and investment. So that I could do because I opted for the least attractive option at that point of time. So, and then I would move into the second point, collaborate. So whether like you are doing a job or outside of job, learn to collaborate. Collaboration is very important thing. I like collaboration with different functions. Even like there are like office boys, you talk to them, they are your stakeholders. You can gain critical insights if you talk to them on a daily basis. Talk to the finance department, talk to the HR department, talk to marketing and communication teams, talk to IT team. So you gain crucial operational insights by talking to them. And then outside your organization, talk to your client on routine basis, like if not weekly, even like make sure that you talk to them on monthly basis. And collaborate, like when you go to a conference, or collaborate with people, do networking and try to collaborate with them. For example, like if you happen to meet an expert on international trade and development, and you are doing internship in FICCI, so you can speak to or reach out to that expert and talk to that expert and figure out how to collaborate. Can you write a joint article? Can you write a joint policy brief, discussion paper? So those kind of things, meaningful collaboration is very important. So inside the job, I developed that skill. Like my senior leadership, they also entrusted me upon bigger responsibilities by acknowledging that I had the ability to take a difficult task and like implement that, execute them. So I got to collaborate with like experts in the India-US space and in in the India and its neighborhood, and also ASEAN countries, experts from ASEAN countries. So a lot of learning. It involves a lot of learning, and also I was part of a seed community, Frederick Ebert Stiftung, so transforming India-Pakistan relations. So I was nominated by Kurtz to be part of that seed community out of 60 employees. I was only one who was nominated from Kurtz. And that also included like many people from media and prominent people from media, academia, and politics from both India and Pakistan. So got to meet them, got to work with them on projects like reviving Munabab, Khokrapar, cross-border trade between Rajasthan and Sindh. So got to meet the Chief Secretary of Rajasthan for that and send letter to the Home Ministry of India, Ministry of External Affairs, do advocacy for that, organize meetings for that. So I got to learn a lot. And then meetings happened in Kathmandu and Colombo. Got to visit those places, meet people. And luckily my project was like made it to the final rounds. And I was the one like whose project got selected like in the final round. So I prepared that pitch, I presented that pitch, and then prominent economists from India and Pakistan, they vetted, and politicians were also there. They grilled me like anything, but I could make it to the final round. So that kind of thing. And collaboration also, while doing projects, I collaborated with organizations like international organizations like World Bank, identifying and inviting speakers from World Bank, subject matter experts from World Bank, from UNCTAD, and from UNESCAP, for example, ADB, for example, and various chambers of commerce like US-India Strategic Partnership Forum, US-India Business Council, and then FICCI, CII, got to work with them. So this is because of collaboration. And outside job, like I will now tell you, I left Kurtz in April 2021. Outside job, what collaboration mean? Like if you don't have a job, so how do you stay relevant? How do you stay competitive? So collaboration, like I like told you, continuous learning is a cross-cutting thing. Analytical skill, continuous learning, and critical thinking abilities, they are cross-cutting things. So a collaboration outside job, what does this mean? So when I didn't have a job, I was continuously writing, continuously collaborating with subject matter experts. For example, on blockchain, I wrote an article on transforming logistics, India's logistics with blockchain technology. So I knew an expert from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. He's a professor, Professor Dipankar Sinha from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. So I reached out to him. I said, sir, can we write an article? You are a blockchain expert. Can we write an article on this subject, blockchain in transforming India's logistics sector? So he said, why not? Let's do that. So he explained me the framework, and I didn't know the B of blockchain, the most interesting thing. So what I did do, after he explained me the framework, I explored about what blockchain technology is. And I did a training course for 15 days, free online training course for 15 days from International Trade Center. Got the certificate, got to know about blockchain technology and its applications, and then wrote that article and sent that article to the professor. And professor said, who wrote this? And I said, I wrote this. And it got published, and it made huge impact. Like we got calls from many experts. So this is something really important, and you have put it in a very good perspective, meaningful perspective. So that collaboration and staying competitive, staying relevant is important. So that kind of collaboration you may prefer. When you don't have a job, you will get work. By doing these things, you will get work. If not a regular income, you will get ad hoc income. So I got to implement a project for for Asian Development Bank as a consultant, national consultant for developing a technology-based road compliance and enforcement framework. I got to work with economists, leading economists from India and from big four, from KPMG, for example, from ADB, from DHL. So and from academia, got to interact with government officials, meet and interact with government officials. So those kind of things you will definitely get. You will get an ample amount of work if you stay relevant, stay competitive, even if you are out of any job. And last thing is compassion. So 3 minutes are remaining. So last thing is compassion. So compassion, like when you are in the job, when you meet community, engage with them. Like if you are interviewing like boat, like there are like many fishermen, for example. If you're interacting with them, enjoy with them, enjoy your time with them, talk to them, talk to about their day and how do they take care of their family, know their life, like from the morning and evening, and then they will tell you everything. If you are interviewing truckers, like sit with them, like offer food to them, they will give you a lot of insights. Don't quote them in your reports, but you will get crucial insights. If you are engaging with the Joint Secretary Government of India, go prepared, like with these insights, the ground level insights. If you tell these ground level insights to that person of that rank, he will be impressed and he will value your contribution like anything. So, and outside job, compassion, like even like what compassion means, even if you have job and you don't have a job, work for your community where you live. Identify the underprivileged communities in your area, in your vicinity, where you can reach and reach out to them, and take certain volunteering assignments. Like I do volunteer for certain causes, for plantation, for skills and entrepreneurship, for education, for women empowerment, by engaging with my own communities which live near to me. And so what happened, like doing this, like we used to do a lot of plantation on our own, and mobilize people like from a coaching center, from schools, to do that plantation and click photos and send it to local media. And when those news were covered, we used to send I used to send that on WhatsApp to my people in my network. So a professor from Sardar Patel University of Police and Criminal Justice, which is centrally funded university in Jodhpur, he called me in 2021, July 2021, and said, Prashant, we are like coming out of, with an edited volume, India and United Nations in the 21st century. Can you write a chapter on this? Can you write one chapter? There are 10 chapters, 9 authors have been identified. Can you write one? So I told him, sir, please suggest me the topic. No, you have to suggest me the topic and within 24 hours. So I said, okay. And then within 24 hours, I got back to him with the title, Civic Engagement Strategies for India in this Decade of Action, and sent the abstract to him. It was selected. Sorry, my time is up. Can I take 1 minute more? Hello?
Yes, of course. Please go ahead.
So, like I sent that abstract was selected, and he gave me 4 weeks. I told him, sir, it takes at least 3 to 4 months. So he told me, what he told me, it will be released by the governor of Rajasthan, Shri Kalraj Mishra, on UN Day, 2021, 24 October 2021. You have to do it. We don't have any time. So 4 weeks, I did that chapter. I analyzed the civic engagement strategies, like with from different organizations, NGOs, and CSR, like CSR vertical of different companies, and the India High Level Political Forum for SDGs, India's reporting framework, India's and Norway's reporting framework, and the digital public stack which India has built based on Aadhaar ecosystem. Gave it to him, and it got published and got released by Honorable Governor Shri Kalraj Mishra on UN Day. So that's how, if you do these small things, you can make a big difference. You can stay relevant, and you can be competitive, and you will definitely get one. So, like, without any job or not a job, you will be end up doing a lot of work. Thank you. Hello, Prerna.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing all your experience with us. That is quite inspiring. So I would like my moderator to take the session ahead. Pradeep. Are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that, sir. I think Rupenda, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much, Prashant. That was really insightful and really you summed up so well. I think I'll have less to contribute. I would really request if people can come on video because I don't like talking to the screen. I've taught this program at Harvard where it was mandatory to have your screen on, otherwise your attendance is not marked. So kind of that rule I love. All right. First of all, thanks to the alumni, department of JGU for inviting us, and thanks to the moderators for today's session. And I think Prashant has really summed up few of the skills which you need to take on the world. I have since Prashant is more into the foreign policy and analytics section, and I have been working on more on the NGO or the international sector perspective. So I have a little different perspective. Somehow they are collaborating. One of the most important skills I would ask all of you to have is to ask your why you want to do what you want to do. Say you want to work with the United Nations. Why do you want to work with the United Nations? So it's not because it's a fancy organization, they give you good salary or something like that. There has to be a why. You need to have your own universal goal within your why. That what is it that you want to do? Say for me, before I joined Jindal, I somehow knew my why, that I want to work for women empowerment. I want to work for gender equality. So that is how I navigated my path, that this is what I want to do in life. So, that actually helps you define what you want to do. So, you actually then structure things that, okay, this is my goal. What are the organizations I can work with? What are the different skills I will need? Say, very important thing Prashant said, courage is something then you will need. Courage to speak your voice, courage to tell the truth. Then, of course, compassion is something. Then you will understand that you need compassion if you really want to work for these universal goals, because you really need to connect with people. You really need to connect with your community. You really need to understand them. It's not like you have a very fancy degree, you're coming from a global institution, and you don't understand any of these and you want to work with UN. No, it won't work like that. So these are the important things you really need to understand. You need to figure out your universal goal. What is it? And does that goal go with the, say, poverty eradication? That's a universal goal. Do you want to work for that? How do you want to work for that? It's not that you will just join an NGO and you'll work for that. Oh, come on, you can really start a smart, if you're an entrepreneur, this might not be applicable to so many JSI students, but I'm just giving an example. You can actually start a nice restaurant which actually works towards hunger eradication by, doing something for the community in the way that you're involving the farmers, you're involving the local community. So, you really need to plan it that way. You really need to have that kind of a strategy in mind. And some of you must be thinking, oh, being in college, how will I decide that? I don't know. No, you'll have to start it here only. Let me tell you, because, okay, we also had a fun time in Jindal, but you really need to work on this. And this is the space, this is the place that will help you define it also. When you know your why, please go and talk to your professors. Please go and talk to all the people who visit Jindal. Jindal gets amazing people who deliver guest lectures. You won't find them outside Jindal. Of course, in the organizations, but the kind of lectures that happen, interdisciplinary lectures, they're just amazing. So that actually helped me because I knew my why. So I would go to different professors, different, deans, and talk to them. But what can I do? How can I, collaborate? And that helped me get the OSF fellowship, because the dean of, Jindal government and public policy, we really connected well on that level, that this is what and then he told me that OSF is coming with a fellowship that was supposed to be for the JSGP school. But he said, why don't you also apply? And I got selected. So that's the power of, just thinking about and networking. Second, of course, I'm coming to networking only. So networking, like I said, network within Jindal, network with the people who come, write to them, take the initiative of writing. Say, like Prashant said, that don't feel afraid. Like, I wanted to work with Hunger International because they were doing a project with the village sarpanches. Okay. So when I wanted a job, I wrote directly to the director and she called me for an interview. Though it just happened that they wanted to do me like the desk job and I wanted to do a field job. So I kind of rejected that job, but still it worked. They offered me that job. So, network within your, people. So this actually helped me also get into like the power of why and network. I got into the, Harvard Kennedy School also through my network, through the OSIRG network. So OSF actually opened the fellowship to the Harvard Kennedy School program. And since I was like so much involved in the community, I was like working so much, so that actually helped me. Like it's very difficult to get into that program because you need to be working within your community also. So that kind of really helped. And then building that network and staying in that network. So within the OSIRG community, I actually have been so much involved with my OSF community in India, across the globe also. Like, and then if there is some work, we really reach out to, people. The third thing based on networking is you need to start building relationships. And how do you build relationships is because since you know your why, okay, you need to learn the craft of storytelling. Why is it that you want to do this in a story? What is your journey? Okay, why do you want that? What are the challenges you have faced? And are you in that position to take on a leadership role in that, career move, say in gender equality domain? What have you done in your past? Or maybe as a child, what have you stood for? You need to tell so that someone can actually identify that you have those leadership qualities that you'll be able to actually take forth. This actually really helped me. So the program which I started with Jindal here in India, that's a program run by the Harvard University. So many Harvard alums have done that program here in India, but nobody actually started that program. And I actually thought in my mind that it's an amazing program. It works on community development. It helps you build your story. You reach out to people. And then, it teaches you so many new skills. It teaches capacity building to the NGO leaders also, which I saw that was missing when I was working in Udan here, that none of the NGOs I was working, their leaders had these kind of skills. Or, they would do it like this, how we were taught at Harvard. So I got in collaboration with, we have a Harvard Club of India group, actually. I got in collaboration with all the women at the Harvard Club of India Women's Network. I told them, I am launching this program here in India. And some of my own colleagues and my professors at the, Harvard program there. And I said, I'm starting this program here. Will you like to come and be part of, say the mentors? So online mentoring sessions were happening for the NGO leaders here in India. And some of my Harvard, women leaders from India here, like if you know Himakshi, she started this organization called, developing political leaders. So, democracy, I'm just forgetting the name. I'll just send you all. So a lot of people actually came and, they became part of that program. And the program really took off well. Secondly, then what I did was, from my OSF group only, there were so many people who were into that program. So many of my students who were in, like when I joined the Harvard program, so many of my students, I got them into that program the second year when I did that program online on my own in the COVID times. So, I mean, that kind of gives you the confidence. If you build on that network, you have those kind of relationships. So I would seriously advise you to work on these skills, develop your own story and work on this. The third thing which I gained from this, again, building network, building relationships, having my why was, so in one of the dinners at the Harvard club, I met this woman. She is also very passionate about gender and women equality. She is right now the Additional Director General Income Tax in Delhi. So we both met, and then she had delivered one of the lectures at my program. So I told her, she said, I really want to work something for the girl child, let's do something in the coding space. And that time there was this already an organization which had contacted me that I do these training program for the leadership team, and they were doing work on coding. So I said, I'm already doing this. She said, oh, wow, why don't we start it? And then we made a plan. And then we made a PPT. We went and met Mr. Manish Sisodia that we want to start coding for girls in the government schools. Within 5 minutes, he said, okay, when do you want to start? So that's the power of network and building relationships. And then, I mean, we were just two people. We had an idea and we went to him. Now, the next thing we thought was, I knew these people from IIT Delhi. So they were the ones who were actually going to teach coding. So we went and met the director of IIT Delhi, and we told him, sir, why don't we have your students volunteer with us for this program where they're going to be teaching 1,000 girl child in the government schools on how to learn coding. And from my own network, Reshma Sujani, she runs this program called Girls Who Code America. So we told her, why don't you bring that program to India, Girls Who Code India? And she brought it to India. We used her framework. We used all her content and everything. And we started that program. From, like Prashant said, knowing nothing about coding, but knowing how to work on it, having that courage to do it, And eventually it was launched by the Delhi government in a big way. The chief minister announced it. And unfortunately, the pandemic happened, but the students, the volunteers, they were so motivated by the program that we continued that program in the, COVID times also. And we were able to teach 1,000 girls how to make animation videos online, and that became a success. So that is something I really want you to, take home as the mantra. Third thing is, this is the fourth thing. The most important thing is have a growth mindset. Even if you fail at something, don't think, oh, I am a failure, I can't do this. No, think of the things like, why did I fail? How could I have done it differently? And, what is it that I need to do in this? So have a growth mindset, challenge yourself. This has really helped me. I always had that growth mindset. I always had that positive energy in me. So I'm really glad to share that I was recently selected for Goldman Sachs Women Business Leaders Program also. So I did a 3-month stint at IIM Bangalore, a mini MBA to take on my business ahead. So I lost my dad in 2020 in the mid of COVID, not from COVID, but from a heart attack. And we have a family business here, a jewelry business, gold, diamond, and silver jewelry showroom. Though I was doing the purchasing, the selection of designs, but I wasn't involved in the most part. And over a night, I had to jump in as the head of that business. Imagine. Because I have 2 brothers who are young, who are just helping my dad. So eventually, I took it day by day, but I always had this thing in my mind that I had to learn. I would really call up people in our networks, in this thing, and ask them, how do I do this? I was never shy to ask that I don't know this, that please tell me, what should I do? How do I navigate? And even from the smallest people also, like I would call them, and the way I would talk to them. Today, like I actually am in talks with like the biggest manufacturers of gold jewelry and diamond jewelry in India, because that's the kind of connection I've made. So, anything, I make it possible. But it's like the power of asking also. You need to have that compassion. You need to be not like, oh, I am so big, I am this and that. No, come on, have a conversation with anyone, ask them. And that actually developed in me the power of learning also. I mean, of course, I've had it almost throughout my age, that I really want to develop one skill and I want to upgrade myself every year. I am not competing with anyone outside the world. I'm competing with myself. That what I was last year, what I'm now. I'm always evaluating myself. I'm always writing down my learnings, what I learned, what I didn't do well, you know. And then few of the things, like here in the jewelry business also, I'm always involving my team. I'm always asking my people for feedback. So those kind of things, actually small things, but they really help actually, how do you work in an organization, all these small things. Then I'm always reading something, doing small courses at Coursera, edX, something like that. Especially nowadays, I'm doing for my business. How do I do that? And then always I'm like looking forward to having someone as a mentor, as a guide, to ask them. When I was in the OSF, this thing, I would really call up Professor Sudarshan, the dean, and we would really chat a lot. And I would really call a lot of people. So that has really helped, that kind of building up of relationships. So I mean, when I was working in Delhi also in this project, education project, my relationships, my network actually helped. So people from Poland, they actually called me back. They said, oh, Rupinder, like we did a social campaigning in Poland when I was the OSF fellow on political empowerment of women. And they said, Rupinder, like the campaigning you did, there is a 40% increase in the women at the local councils. Why don't you come and join? I said, oh, I have enough work here in India. I'm happy. But that kind of connection really helped me. So one of the, like I became the OSERC president of the alumni group, and I wanted a visa. And somehow the French diplomat, some goof up happened, he canceled my visa. I went to the embassy. I sat with the visa counselor. I said, give me the visa right now. He said, no, the French have really rejected your visa. I said, I'll write to the FO and, I'll get that cancelled. You better tell me. I wrote to the director with whom I was working. He personally called the visa consulate. He said, please grant her the visa. She's coming to Poland. And I got my visa in 3 years. So, that is the kind of network relationships that actually helps you. A problem solver for anything. I'm not going to take much of your time. Last point. Have the ability, I think maybe I've covered it, but I really want to tell you, to take and give constructive feedback. Especially right now when you're getting it from your professors and to the alumni who are listening, from your bosses or whosoever, that, if they're telling you something, take in the right perspective, not as a criticism and be disheartened that, oh, I don't want to. What is it that you can improve? What is it that you can do differently and it can take you to the next level? Accept your mistakes. What is it? Like we used to do this every time in the Harvard program. So every time we deliver a lecture, Professor Marshall Gans, he delivers a lecture, and then all the TS actually come back to him. And we give constructive feedback to him also. That, so you could have done this differently, or today we could have ran this program like this, and we could have done it differently. And within my classes also, we used to do this session, like last 5 to 10 minutes with the student, that what we could have done it better, how, and then we would take it. And that actually, I really took note of all of that, and I implemented it in all my further programs. And the third program which I ran, it was absolutely amazing. Like my students, the way we were doing it, sometimes we would just ask, I would tell them that we are going to do this, and someone might have a great idea that, oh Rupita, let's do it like this, we can do it like this. So don't be stuck in your head that no, I had planned it like this, and I said, oh, let's do it like this, let's try and see how it works. If it doesn't work, that's fine. If it works, oh wow, great, we've learned a new thing. So have that kind of attitude, have, a growth mindset, and take constructive feedback. I think that's it I have to say. Rest, of course, what all you programs you need to do, everything, your professors there are very well qualified to tell you. Please use your time nicely and judiciously at Jindal. We really, we did work hard also, and we did had fun also. But that's the best learning space you have to do all of what I have told you today. So, start building your skills right there from the university itself. That's it I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kaur, for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us. I'm quite sure that our current students, they will learn the value of networking, curiosity, and compassion. Now I would like Chani idea.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yes, please take the session ahead. Now it's time when we please ask our students to ask questions if they have. Students, please ask your question and raise your hand if you have any query. Yes, please take the session ahead.
Sure. So if anybody has any questions, you can either put it in the chat box, or you can also raise your hand, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you so much.
Rakesh ji, ये इनको access दे दीजिए so that they can ask by themselves.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so probably they don't have any query now, but Chandni and Pratik, if you have any queries, if you have any questions, please ask, and and meanwhile, all the other students will come up with their questions.
Sure, ma'am. So I just had a few set of questions that I myself have experienced. So thank you so much for your insights. I'm really grateful and honored to be present here today. And my first question is, how can one survive the rising ultranationalism in the global sphere? Because we've been noticing the decline of globalization today. So it obviously immediately affects the labor market and employment. So how does one deal with that?
Prashant, you want to answer that because you're working that way?
Yeah, Chandni, very good question. So, like as I was saying that the lots of volatility and uncertainty is there. So like people are being laid off, like during the pandemic time they were laid off, and even after the pandemic time, a lot of jobs were not filled. But at the same time in US, if you saw the time of great resignation, it happened. So a lot of talented people, they were leaving jobs for the sake of better opportunity, better pay. So what is the keyword here? Talent. So if you have talent, your job will find you. You don't have to go to job. And if you have talent, even you don't have a job, you will get a lot of work. Even during any crisis, you will work a lot. And getting work is the most important thing to keep yourself busy. And I was reading one expert who said that you can't have a positive life with a negative mindset. So if you don't have work, negativity will come, distress will come, depression will come. So always do like believe in continuous learning, practice like what you have learned in your university. And most importantly, what Rupinder has said, find purpose and leverage network, build and leverage network. And also, Rupinder has highlighted that you are in Jindal, and most of the values which I have told you today, I have derived from Jindal, a value of courage, compassion, and collaboration, and then critical thinking, continuous learning, analytical skills. These all things you will find in Jindal. So I have not imported it from anywhere else, but from Jindal. Jindal has transformed my life. So you are in that institution. Take that opportunity very sincerely. You have great resources, great faculty, and you get to meet people like diplomats, like business leaders, political leaders, almost every day. So try to leverage that. And also, like while you are in Jindal, think bigger, because I know what you can do. If I have done, Rupinder has done a lot, you people are the change makers of future, and being situated in an institution of eminence like Jindal, you can do a lot. Believe you me, I still kind of miss that. If I go back to Jindal, get that opportunity to learn more in Jindal, so I want to revisit that phase, but I cannot do because past is past. So utilize this opportunity. Do internship, think bigger, do internship. Like for example, there are a lot of remote internship opportunity in institutions like International Monetary Fund. World Trade Organization is offering remote internship opportunity. UNCTAD is opening providing remote internship opportunity. So these kind of institutions, they opened up remote internship opportunities and vacancies. Apply for them in any way, like whether you get it or not get it, but apply. And if you get it, nothing like it. So that's my point. So Rupinder, if you may want to add.
Yeah. So talking about, say, Chandi, you're saying, ultranationalism and globalization is shrinking. All our goals, all our universal goals, the national goals are connected to the global goals, right? So even if we are in that nationalism phase where we're talking about doing, why can't we actually do, say, why don't you actually, Prashant already said, the program which I teach at like Harvard and which I've started, it works on community organizing for social change and action. How do you build leadership at the community level for social change and action at the global level? So, when you actually say, focus on, say, right now, if it is ultranationalism, don't think about that, oh, I can't be engaged in a global community or things like that. No, all these small organizations you are right now working for the communities, they are somehow connected to the national organization, and then they are connected to the global organizations. So think it like that, and then work on those goals. Your national goals only are the global goals. Why are you forgetting that, or why are you thinking in those terms? I'll give you, so your question actually reminded me. So I wrote the Indian Civil Services exam. I failed that exam. And then that's why I came back to Jindal. So there was this essay on globalization versus nationalism. So I had written that essay, and in that particular year, I had got 156 out of 200. Why? Because there is this always cycle of nationalism and then globalization. When there is too much of nationalism, globalization happens. When there is too much of globalization, nationalism happens. So that this cycle will go on. So don't get caught in all these perspectives, right? Do your work with the community organizations, find your why, work with your community organizations. That will take you to your next level. Say, the community organization with whom you work, take that data, take it to the national level, and that will take you to the international level. Just have that courage to do things and think of all the perspectives you can actually develop from there. That's it.
Thank you so much for your for answering my question. I'm really honored for just being here and learning from both of you. And I think Pradeep has his questions. So yeah.
Okay, yes. So, one very basic primary question that obviously comes is how to determine if you're actually ready to start working, that it's time now that you need to stop studying and start working, get into the job market.
Yeah. So that's I will say, of course, but you need to wake up and think that you know more. You graduated. That should dawn on you now. And the second thing is, we've been trained by our parents. We've been trained by our socialization that we need to excel. We need to do this at the top. No, this I learned at Harvard, that just do it. Have the courage to do it. Come on, go and do it. And once you've done that, even if you've not done it like with your 100%, you feel, oh, I could have done it better, just do it. That satisfaction is going to be, that's going to give you confidence over a period of time, because that means you've committed to something and you fulfill that commitment. See, this is very important. What organizations are looking for, what your bosses are looking for, if they assign you a work, it's not that you don't do it, that I want to do it the best, that's why I was not able to do it. Come on, just do it. Start doing it. Once you start doing it, say, all of us right now must be facing that dilemma. Say the MA DLB second year students must be facing that dilemma of writing that thesis. Okay, and we want to write the perfect thesis. And we like, oh, if I get another 15 days, I'll write the perfect thesis. But those 15 days also, you won't be able to write the perfect. Come on, just do it. So, have that mindset of just completing that task, completing that target. So, I mean, you'll have to eventually think it as a learning process. Say if you're thinking, oh, I'm not job ready, think it as a learning process, not studying. But say here also you're going to learn. If you are going to join job, think it as a learning process. And say if you're really wanting to be in that domain where you want to study, pick up a job which gives you opportunity to study, say a research field or something where you don't have to do the field work. I mean, there are so many options. I would suggest that, but you need to start. I mean, graduation is enough an age. You need to start. People outside of India start working right after school. Here we get that advantage that our parents fund our graduation also. And that too, institution like Jindal, which is 5-star. Okay, Prashant.
Yeah, thank you, Rupinder. Rupinder has put it very correctly. You have to work. And so, like to explain, like you are learning. In Jindal, you are learning. You keep learning for your life. But when you apply that knowledge, when you will apply that knowledge, once in your lifetime, you have to first apply that knowledge. Then only you will get wisdom. And then only you will get wealth. So my formula is you learn and apply, learn and apply, learn and apply. Keep learning and keep applying. And don't think that I will learn for a year and then apply after a year. From the day one, from the like week one of month one, you have to apply what you have learned. So like even in your assignments, you have to apply. So be a thinker, like develop your analytical skills, critical thinking capabilities, so that you can apply what you have learned. That's more that will like build your confidence and give you the courage to do bigger things in life. I think there is a question from Ritik to me. So he is saying that he wants to work in the area of international economics. Okay, so Ritik, thanks for your question. So I would say since you are in last year, your master's, final year master's student, so I would suggest you take an internship with Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry or Confederation of Indian Industry. And also, like if there are like, now there are a lot more chambers of commerce, like US India Business Council. You try to take an internship there, and after that you will identify, you would be able to relate to your specialization in your masters and what you would like to do, do as a, take as a career path. So then only you after doing that internship, finding that internship and doing that internship, you would be able to relate to. And the second thing, there are a lot of like World Bank, cross-border economic cooperation, regional economic integration. These kind of terms are there. Foreign trade, free trade agreements, FTAs, like investment treaties, they are there. So these terms, like if you get to read about them a lot, and ADB, ADB does a lot of work on international economic cooperation. UNESCO and UNCTAD, follow them. They do a lot of work on international economics, for the globe, and also in particular Asia and Pacific region. So first, you secure an internship, like in the Chamber of Commerce, or if you get a remote internship, as I was mentioning with UNCTAD or say ADB, do that. I keep sending these internship notification. I don't know whether they are circulated to you. I'm sure they are circulated. I keep sending like some at times. So I will do that more frequently from now onwards.
Thank you so much for the answer, sir. Okay, Ritik, go ahead. I think Raghavi has a question. She has a hand raised. Raghavi, please.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your insights today. It was really nice. So my question is that I want to pursue lobbying.
We can't hear her. Can she type?
Raghavi, please go ahead. Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, I don't think you're audible, Raghavi. I think you can type your question.
Okay, no problem. We can take the next question, and probably we'll come back to Raghavi's question after that. Any more queries? Any more questions, students?
My question is to Ms. Rupinder Bhala. So I just wanted to ask, how do you deal with gendered politics in the workplace or gendered inequalities? And how do you navigate through that?
So yeah, very important. One thing you really need to say, if you are working on gender equality, or if you want to work for women empowerment, you need to choose organizations which work for gender equality. And even if they don't, you need to have the courage to have certain kind of norms or a culture established there. Okay, so that's going to be your call. So maybe that can become your why, that you bringing that change in that organization. That if you see that there is gender biasness, what are the things you can do in that organization which can help you elevate that, right? Say in your class, in your organization, wherever you work, in the internship organization, what are the changes you can actually bring in? Say the proportion is not right. So many people have their different reasons, but yeah, try and bring that conversation. Maybe, have certain kind of norms established in that organization. Have the organization talk about their culture. What is the culture of the organization? Do they work for gender equality? Are they promoting gender equality? So, those kind of questions you need to first ask about the organization when you're actually going to work in that organization, if that is something you're interested in doing. And secondly, when you're there, try and make that change happen. Don't just sit and watch, because if this is something really important for you, why don't you actually bring that on, right? And so, like, say, since I was very passionate about gender and women equality, so all my work has been related to that. So in the Polish embassy, when we were working, we had more females working in that organization than the males. So that was good, but still we worked a lot on women focused projects. Say, even if we were working in the arts domain, in the embassy, in the culture program. We would bring a lot of female artists from Poland and send a lot of women artists. So, try and do something like that if you're really focused on that. Then, yeah, the thing, like in my own Harvard program, also in the general, I would really like that balance, that if I have number of mentors, say 10 mentors, I would see that I have 5 women mentors and 5 males. So many times, of course, I had more women mentors because I have that inclination. Right now, in my jewelry showroom also, I have 2 males who work for me and 2 females who work for me. So you try and bring that into your work. You need to constantly work on that.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering my question. And I think Raghavi has written a question on the chat box.
For internships and lobbying, Prashant, you want to answer and then I'll continue.
Yeah, Raghavi, like if you want it in the US, say for example, so lobbying is more formally in an organized way used in the US context. But for like say in India, it's not the correct word. So there is no such like opportunity to do internship as a lobbyist in India. So like if I can share my own experience, so correct theme and correct work areas, you can say policy research and policy advocacy. So you identify a policy gap, and there are a lot of like organizations, think tanks, NGOs are working to provide government feedback on certain policy gaps. And also they are doing policy advocacy by organizing conferences, regular conferences. In Delhi, you happen to be in Delhi, you will see a lot of conferences like almost every day. Chambers of commerce, they are organizing, think tanks, they are organizing. So, and they are bringing up that point up front in public. So these are the gaps and this is what we want. These are our points. And it is up to the government to address those points, taking all the stakeholders' suggestions in mind. So those kind of internships are available in plenty, even in Delhi. You can like apply in ORF, and then think the Gateway House in India, Gateway House India in Mumbai. Yeah. So and there are other think tanks, a lot of think tanks in Delhi. Trade Promotion Council of India is another chamber of commerce which has come up, and like it's big, like doing a lot of work on trade policy issues. So if you are interested, you can apply there. And even in my like my previous organization, Cuts International, so they offer a lot of internships. If you want to do internship there, you can apply, but you have to come to Jaipur for that. And but if you can afford doing that, you can apply there as well.
So one is like you need to have the definition clear. What do you mean by saying lobbying? I think Prashant has done that. Here it's policy advocacy. Maybe if you're also thinking in terms of, say, diplomatic, institutions, organizations, or the embassies and all, you need to actually first identify your area. Say, do you want to work in economics? Do you want to work in the security issues? Do you want to work in, say, education? So if you want to work in the education sector or the arts or whatsoever, then you need to work with the, the cultural office of the embassies here. They have a lot of opportunities in the economic swing in the embassies. You need to identify that. Secondly, like if you really want to work with the embassies, you really need to focus on the language. You really need to start learning the language. Jindal offers that opportunity of learning languages. So please grab that, learn the language, and it becomes a cakewalk for you to get into that embassy. I happened to get into the Polish embassy because I had worked in Poland, and the ministry there had recommended, and the director really was like she really wanted me to work because I knew how the culture works there, how people are there. So it was easy to be with them and mingle with them and stuff like that. So once that happens, they are at a comfortable level that, okay, you will be easy to work with. To be very honest, because they're from outside of India, sometimes they're also scared to be working with the Indians, because a lot of their diplomats who work, but since they want Indians also to work, because you need to show those kind of skills, learn the language, learn about the culture, learn, say, if you want to work in the economic section, learn about the economics, what is it that they can do, say, in relation to India, how they can develop, how you can develop. Few of the things, if you're going for internships, or if you want going, thinking about having a job with them. So, those kinds of things you need to keep in mind.
Okay, do we have any other query? Any other questions? Okay. Prateek, Chandni, do you have any other query?
No, ma'am, no questions.
All right, so could you please conclude the session and yeah, just go ahead.
So our session today began with Mr. Prashant Sharma talking about a set number of skills that have helped him advance in his career, which include continuous learning, critical thinking, and collaboration that led him to network, travel, and meet people from all over the world, which he believes hold the key to success and employability. His numerous lived experiences shed light on the fact that it is only through his hunger for learning that led him to make impacts and stay relevant in his field. Compassion, he believes, is something that will yield success because it induces a sense of community and integrity. Similarly, Ms. Rupinder Kaur Bhalla, through her lived experiences, stressed on the importance of asking the question of why in terms of whether our universal goals correlates to community building, asking questions to the right people, which include the importance of building relationships and the craft of storytelling. Most importantly, she stressed on having a growth mindset and having the ability to take and receive criticism. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chandni. Thank you so much, Pradeep. And I thank you so much, Mr. Prashant Sharma and Rupinder Kaur, the time and the effort you put for this session. And thank you so much, DLV students and other JSI students for participating in this event. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, and Merry Christmas to all.
Yeah, thank you very much, and excellently summarized by Chandni. And thanks for inviting us and hosting us. And we really liked, I really liked interacting with you. And please stay in touch. If you want any further information, like Ritik, I have shared my email. He can write to me, and if I get to know about any opportunity, I'll keep circulating to you through my contacts in Jindal. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is one of our purpose for organizing these kind of events, so that our students can directly communicate with our alumni. So yeah, thank you so much all for joining this session.
Pleasure. Thank you, Prerna.
Thank you so much.
Have a lovely day and Merry Christmas and a lovely year ahead. Good luck for your internships and jobs, and keep learning and keep rising.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. Thank you.
Merry
Thank you so
Christmas.
much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.